Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Protest against the Trinidad and Tobago government and private sector are top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, August 4th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Hundreds of workers took to the streets of Trinidad and Tobago's capital on Friday as trade unions flexed their muscle and protested the policies of both the government and the private sector. The unions have warned that the action is only the first of many initiatives to get the employers to change policies that they say have resulted in retrenchment of thousands of workers. CMC's Peter Richards files this report from Port of Spain.
The unions affiliated to the Joint Trade Union Movement JTUM and the National Action Trade Union Center NATUC say an estimated 4,000 people have been fired from their jobs since the Keith Rowley government came to office in 2015. While stressing the protest should not be viewed as an attempt to bring down the government, the union leaders nonetheless said that they could not sit idly by and allow for their members to be put on the breadline as a result of the policies of both the government and the private sector. President of the Public Service Association, PSA Watson Duke, said the protest is to highlight the changing labor environment in Trinidad and Tobago.
I would say March is really the labor unions getting together to be a countervailing force in society, to balance the equation. Society is moving more towards the conservative and less towards the working class people. The working class is being taxed almost out of existence, while the ruling class continue to exert force upon them. So today, we are dealing with things like retrenchment, things like freezing of wages that they would have done automatically without announcing it. Things like lack of employment opportunities for the young and upcoming people, social security that have taken away a whole bunch of it, and a number of other issues.
NATUC President Michael Anisette, who claimed that police had attempted to prevent the unions from having music trucks as part of the demonstration, said the trade union movement had a sacred responsibility to intervene in what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago.
And this march is about an intervention and not about mashing up Port of Spain. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Your support, your commitment, your resistance going to determine whether we succeed or whether we fail. But always remember, there is no force in Trinidad and Tobago in the world that can beat a united labor force.
President of the Joint Trade Union Movement, Ansel Roger, told the rally that while he was pleased with the turnout, the event today was not a mono activity.
Comrades, I want to express my profound appreciation for you making it possible for us to begin this historic journey to wrest power from those who are in control and whose control is not in the interest of all of us. But this evening, as we prepare to send the most clear and powerful message, we ourselves want to be in the most disciplined fashion. We want to demonstrate to those who are indisciplined that the trade union movement in Trinidad and Tobago and its members are, by example, the most disciplined group.
Several trade union leaders representing teachers, prison officers, fire and construction workers, as well as those employed in the vital energy sector, addressed the rally, warning that they were no longer prepared to tolerate the retrenchment policies of both the government and the private sector. From Port of Spain in Trinidad, Peter Richards, CMC News.
And still in Trinidad and Tobago, government has announced that court-appointed liquidators will investigate at least two multi-million-dollar transactions involving the troubled CL Financial Group. This as efforts continue to recover billions of dollars loaned to the private company dating back to 2009. Finance Minister Com Imbert told reporters on Thursday that an investigation will be launched into the leakage of an estimated 1.1 billion TT dollars from Scotland-based CL World Brands and the transfer of shares of a company within the CL Financial Group estimated at 10 billion TT dollars for a mere $99. We get more in this report from Ian Wilson of C News.
It's a case of interlocking companies. CL Financial owns 17% of Angostura through its 38% stake in CL World Brands. CL World Brands in turn owns Rompro, which owns 75% of Angostura. The other 62% of CL World Brands belongs to the government, since it is the government who has control of Clico Investment Bank and Colonial Life Insurance, under which CL World Brands fall. But the earnings from Angostura do not reach the government.
But for some reason, all of the profits flowing from these companies have been finding their way into the bank account of CL Financial. And this too will be investigated.
This is just one of the discrepancies Finance Minister Com Imbert says the liquidators will have to probe. The other is a transaction that also has the attention of the government. Mr. Imbert explains the CL director has claimed that Delco, a company owned by CL Financial, is worth $40 billion. Shares were transferred from one party to another, but the price was not right.
Because if you transfer shares in a company worth 10 billion, 50 million comes to the state, goes to the consolidated fund to pay the same schools and police station and so on. So we will be looking into this matter to see how is it possible for this multi-billion-dollar company to be valued at only $99.
The finance minister also reveals there have been no audited accounts into CL Financial since the bailout in 2009.
The draft audited accounts have been prepared and are now being finalized by the auditors up to the year 2015.
The finance minister also says the fees into the bailout amounted to $250 million and not over $3 billion, as has been claimed by a former government minister.
The International Monetary Fund says Trinidad and Tobago continues to face economic challenges stemming primarily from the sharp declines in global energy prices combined with the fall in natural gas and oil production. The IMF on Friday ended a one-week mission to the Twin Island Republic. In its preliminary report, it said that economic improvement is now beginning and is projected to continue into the medium term, adding that fruitful discussions were held on a number of adjustment measures to achieve the necessary fiscal consolidation. The mission, led by Eli Canetti, noted that the country's continued economic challenges stem primarily from the sharp declines in global energy prices since 2014, combined with a fall in natural gas and oil production in recent years. He said although preliminary data shows that the economy contracted in the first half of the year on weak energy production and spillovers to the non-energy sector, the economy may be starting to turn a corner as a result of a projected recovery in gas output, although growth may still be flat or somewhat negative for the year as a whole. The IMF official said that the mission welcomed ongoing fiscal policy adjustments, including the government's efforts to reform the energy tax regime and to boost domestic revenues. Canetti has, however, cautioned that sustainable fiscal adjustment will require additional measures, including containment of current expenditure to rebalance the public finances. Over in the Bahamas, former Labour Minister Shane Gibson has been charged with a battery of offences allegedly committed while in office. He's accused of 39 counts of extortion, bribery, conspiracy and misconduct in public office. Clint Watson of ZNS Network News has the details.
Hand handcuffed and struggling to walk as he nursed a foot injury he sustained from a boating accident. Former Minister of Labor and National Insurance Shane Gibson, under heavy police escort, made his way to the Magistrates Court number 9 amid a large crowd of supporters, family members, and former cabinet colleagues. In court, he pleaded not guilty to some 39 counts of extortion, bribery, conspiracy, and misconduct in public office. Magistrate Sabu Swain read each charge, most of which referred to extorting, bribing, or conspiring to extort and bribe more than $250,000 from Jonathan Ash between January and April of this year. Gibson's lawyers confirmed that the total amount is alleged to be somewhere in the region of $330,000 for all the counts, which they believe may only be 36 in total. Ash is reportedly the contractor who was granted $8 million in work for cleanup following Hurricane Matthew last October. As the charges were read in court, Gibson was permitted to sit due to his injuries. After reading the long list of charges, the magistrate asked Gibson if he understood the charges, to which he replied yes. She then said the case would be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court by a voluntary bill of indictment. She then remanded him to the Department of Corrections, noting that it was not within her jurisdiction to grant bail. Gibson's team of lawyers, which included 3 Queen's counsels, Anthony McKinney, Wayne Monroe, Damien Gomez, Owen Wells, and Alex Dorset, then petitioned a request from the magistrate to transfer Gibson to the Supreme Court, where they had already made arrangements for a bail hearing before Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson. She granted this request, and Gibson was transported by police from the Nassau Street Courts to Bank Lane. In her decision, Justice Grant Thompson granted bail in the amount of $40,000 with 2 sureties. She did not place a travel or reporting restriction on him, but conditioned that he is not to interfere with the witnesses. The suretors for the bail are Al Cawley and Eric Gibson, Jr. On the outside of court, Gibson's lead attorney, Anthony McKinney, spoke to ZNS News, calling the ordeal a charade and travesty that should never have happened, saying Gibson is an upright citizen.
Given the point that you must all have seen that he's hobbling, there was no need, firstly, to shackle him, and secondly, absolutely no need to have placed him in handcuffs. This is an indecent act on the behalf of the police force, and they should stop it. It is not necessary. Mr. Gibson would not be running from them. He could not run from them, and I don't know why they had to make a spectacle of him or any other accused person who is being brought to court, who is known to be just an ordinary citizen without any intention of fleeing from justice.
And Gibson returns to court on October 3rd. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, Haiti's lawmakers vote to ban same-sex marriages. Stay with us.
Ready.
It's another episode when we out on the road. This is what we love to celebrate, to celebrate. This is not Hollywood. No, we don't come out of road.
Drink, drink, drink.
King Baba and Nikita. Hey, hey, hey. Every fat that I go, you keep on calling me wrong name. But that's okay, cause that's my babe. I don't understand how wearing a name tag on me. You know what to say, you still calling me wrong name.
Don't get vexed with me. Don't say that.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
Haitian lawmakers have approved legislation banning same-sex marriages. They've also banned all forms of public demonstrations in support of homosexuality. The Senate earlier this week approved the measure that includes sanctions and specifies that perpetrators, co-perpetrators, and accomplices of a homosexual marriage face a penalty of 3 years imprisonment and a fine of 500,000 gourds. When the vote was taken, only half of all senators were present. 12 senators voted in favor of the bill, while 1 voted against and another abstained. President of the Courage Association, which defends the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersexual community, said the legislation is an attack on that community in Haiti. He said it would further divide society, reinforce discrimination, and bring more violence and prejudice against the LGBTI community. Guyana's Minister of Citizenship, Winston Felix, is refuting claims that the government is involved in smuggling people. Those claims had been made by former President Barrett Jagdeo at a rally last weekend. Jagdeo cited a recent incident where a number of Haitians allegedly used Guyana as a transit hub to French Guiana as grounds for suspecting the government of being involved in human smuggling. But the immigration minister says that's not the case. We get more in this report from Royden James of HGP Nightly News.
This is not the first time Mr. Jagdeo is making these allegations against the government, particularly the Ministry of Citizenship. Citizenship Minister Winston Felix, who described Mr. Jagdeo's assertions as false and dangerous, clarified what happened in the case of the Haitians.
What the police did discover was that a number of people who came on that trip had stated one position on their arrival document. That's on the embarkation card. And by the time they reached Georgetown, that the places that they stated or given of their intention to stay, that stay was cancelled, that booking was cancelled. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that. I can say when I arrive in Trinidad that I'm going to X hotel and I change my mind and I go to another hotel.
Mr. Felix explained that a number of foreign nationals come to Guyana on a daily basis, including but not limited to Chinese, Cubans, Brazilians, and Haitians.
Haitians are not coming illegally. The Haitians that we trace in Guyana are being landed at CJIA by the immigration. Right? We have not found them to be coming illegally. The other aspect of your question is that for years now, I have first-hand experience about this. Haitians have been traveling from Haiti to Guyana, thence to Suriname, and thence to French Guyana. That has been happening since as far back as 1981, 82, I can recall it. So I don't see anything strange about that.
Jagdeo told his supporters in Lenora that the PPP is keeping a close eye on the Ministry of Citizenship since his party has worried about the issuance of false birth certificates. Minister Felix refuted those claims.
What we have done is to improve the quality of the birth certificate against fraud. In times previous, the birth certificate issued by GRO was subject to challenge. You transact business at a certain foreign mission and they would tell you have to go and get a new birth certificate. The current birth certificates have not been subjected to forgery. So far, we have not found it. We issue legitimate documents.
Mr. Felix made clear that birth certificates are only issued through the proper channel, and he has no knowledge of the claims being made or the picture being painted by Mr. Jagdeo.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, could the Jamaica Talawa's home base be moving to the U.S.? We'll hear what the franchise owner wants after the break.
Are you missing out? It's the summer of 60. Up to 60% off accommodations, travel, tours, and special deals. Plus, the music, the party, the vibes, the celebration of the 60th Carnival. It's the summer of 60. Yeah! Love Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda. The beach is just the beginning.
Take advantage of these special deals. Go to visit AntiguaBarbuda.com for more info.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
Continuing with sports, as the Caribbean Premier League CPL bowls off tonight, there's word that defending champions Jamaica Tallawahs could be moving out of the region if their owner gets his way. The highly anticipated tournament begins at 9 p.m. at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in St. Lucia, with the hosts facing Trimbago Knight Riders. Tallawahs will be looking to secure their 3rd championship after also winning the inaugural season in 2013. Their first game of this season is on Saturday when they take on Barbados Tridents. But this week, franchise owner Chris Prasad said he's keen on shifting the team's base from Sabina Park, Kingston, to the Central Broward Regional Park, Florida, which would make the Tallawahs the only U.S.-based franchise in any domestic 2020 league. The Florida-based businessman, whose worldwide sports management group purchased the Tallawahs just last month, declared his intentions this week. Prasad is hoping to use the Tallawahs as a springboard for attracting more matches to the stadium in Lauderhill. Earlier this year, his sports management group signed an agreement with the Central Broward Regional Park for exclusive rights for staging international cricket at the facility, with a guarantee of 3 international events per year. Games involving the Tallawahs would presumably be a part of that number. But ESPN Cricinfo quoted a CPL spokesperson playing down Prasad's statements and saying that while it has been open about pursuing opportunities to expand the number of franchises in the future, with the possibility of a new franchise based in the U.S., it remains committed to keeping the original 6 franchises at home in the West Indies. Cricinfo said an ICC official responded with similar surprise when told of Prasad's comments and said that as with any other cricket hosted in the U.S., the Tallawahs' ownership would need to receive sanctioning permission from the ICC or ICC Americas. Staying with cricket and turning to results from the final day of the 3rd round of the Regional Under-19 Championship in St. Kitts, half-centuries from captain John L. Eugene and opener Kimani Melius underlined a gallant Windward Islands run chase, but the knocks went in vain as Leeward Islands pulled off a narrow 15-run victory on Thursday. Resuming the final day on 49 for 1 in pursuit of 260 for victory at St. Paul's, the Windwards put up a good fight before they were bowled out for 244 in their 2nd innings. Eugene top scored with 70. Melius got 68, while Johan Jeremiah chimed in with 40. The Windwards appeared strong favourites for the win when they cruised to 125 for 1, but they lost wickets steadily to watch their challenge fizzle out. Zawandi White led the Leewards with 3 for 32, while Jerome Thomas and Kadeem Henry collected 2 wickets apiece. Meantime, the drama-filled Jamaica-Trinidad and Tobago match ended in a draw. Number 11, Kishawn Graham, saw out the last 4 balls of a tense final day to stave off defeat for Jamaica and frustrate Trinidad and Tobago's victory bid. Chasing 131 for victory, Jamaica appeared well set at 39 for 1 before losing 8 wickets for just 52 runs to collapse to 91 for 9. The collapse was engineered by off-spinner Aaron Maniram, who picked up 4 for 31, while left-arm spinner Justin Gangu finished with 3 for 30. But as Trinidad and Tobago scented victory, Graham arrived to block the last 4 deliveries and earn Jamaica a share of the honours. First inning century maker Rewin Sr. top scored with 32 and Andre McCarthy got 28, but no other batsman reached double figures. And Kevin Sinclair narrowly missed out on 100 as Guyana frustrated Barbados to draw their game. Guyana batted for most of the day before declaring their second innings on 246 for 8, with Sinclair top scoring with 93. Ramnarayan Chatura chipped in with 45, while Kevlon Anderson added 35. Leg spinner Siobhan Brooks claimed 4 for 49, while left-arm spinner Kamari Boyce supported with 2 for 40 and set an improbable 192 for victory. Barbados were 19 for 1 from 12 overs when that game was abandoned. Former Trinidad and Tobago sprinter Atto Stevens was on Thursday sentenced to 18 months in prison in the Cayman Islands at the end of a trial in which he was also accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old female athlete. Although finding the 38-year-old guilty of misuse of an ICT network, Judge Michael Wood said he found enough inconsistencies to cause reasonable doubt regarding the 1 count of gross indecency and the 2 indecent assault charges. After completing his 18-month sentence, he will be deported. The girl had told police that her trainer sent her WhatsApp messages requesting nude and semi-nude photos, and she'd sent some of herself wearing underwear but never any of her naked. Stevens acknowledged he did that, and he apologized. He said he was not sure what motivated him to do it, but said he started messaging the athlete after he saw her demonstrating what he considered flirtatious behavior. But he was adamant that he never touched the teen inappropriately, despite her allegations that he groped her while in his vehicle on the way home from practice. Stevens represented Trinidad and Tobago at 4 Olympic Games in 2000, 2004, and 2008, but he was banned from competition for 2 years after testing positive for steroids and a testosterone-boosting drug at an international competition in May 2009. Staying in the Cayman Islands, an executive member of the Athletics Association has given the current leadership a failing grade for its administration of the sport. Theo Coffey was frank about the association's shortcomings on Cayman 27's Let's Talk Sports program ahead of the August 24th elections. The association recently lost its funding from the IAAF because of the delayed elections. The current committee, which is largely made up of volunteers, has been accused by members of the Cayman Islands Athletics Association of evasiveness and dysfunction, with key executives either failing to attend meetings or provide transparent information to members. Coffey said he hopes the newly elected committee members will handle their roles more effectively. And that's sports. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
60 years ago, we started greatness.
Now it's time to celebrate greatness. Antigua's Carnival 2017, July 28th to August 8th, celebrating great pageantry, mass, pan, calypso, soca, celebrating culture, celebrating the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, Antigua's 60th anniversary carnival, powered by Flow.
Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport round the clock, log on to CanonNews.com. We'll be back here again on Monday. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and good night.